Okay, we're in the dining room. We've got a light source, the main light source. It's a rather long, maybe 3.5 foot long light source that is on a dimmer. It's almost at its full brightness right now, but that's our main light source. Down here, we've got our subject, which is this lovely little cactus, and it will be sitting on a bucket chair. This bucket chair is just a black chair. Maybe you have some sort of chair like this. It could be even just like an armchair in a living room. Maybe it has a solid color background, or maybe you don't have that, but you have a throw blanket that you can put over top that is solid color. I'm just trying to find like a solid background that makes the cactus the star of the show. Okay, so, but we're gonna try to make it even more the star of the show. See, if I just shine my camera here at the cactus, it's like nice, but it's not super nice. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this dollar store flashlight to create some lighting effects. Now, let's just quickly start lighting around, and you can see that if I point the flashlight really, really close to the cactus, it gets overexposed, which means it's way too bright, and it's brighter than bright, like brighter than white, in fact, in the sense that it's overexposed, and then the rest over here isn't. Same thing here. You can see that that's way overexposed on the actual pot, but everything else isn't. If I shine it like this, you can see the shadow, and as I go lower, the shadow gets bigger and smaller. If I go like this, there's a dramatic shadow on the back, and maybe that's, you know, the Halloween edition of this cactus photo. But regardless, you can start playing around with different techniques. Okay, so we're going to try a technique where we're going to take the photo, and I'm not really worried about these sides here because we're going to crop them out. So you can see around the bucket chair, like some of the background, and we're not going to worry about that because, like I said, we're going to crop them out. So let's try this. We're going to just have to place this camera in a way that I can take the photo. I'm going to put the light over top like this. This is really tough. Maybe I'm going to tilt it upside down. I think it might be easier for me to do that. I'm going to put the light just something like that. It doesn't, in fact, I'm going to show that because we're cropping it out, it doesn't matter if the light's in the frame. It's the exposure button, and boom, we've got that. So what can we do with this, right? Well, we're going to hit edit. I'm going to go to crop right away. And on the top right there, I can say I want to crop it as a square. And then we're going to make this bigger so that it just is the cactus, maybe a little bit of the shadow on the bottom there. Hit done on that crop, whoops, and then go back to edit. And we're going to play with different settings here. So let's just see what some of them do. Brilliance, up and down. This is it's a good practice to just start playing with the various settings and go really dramatic. Like, what if I bring all of the shadows, meaning anything that's really dark, way down, as in make it even darker. So you can see the top, all those are practically black pixels, and then because of the light behind the cactus, it shines on those areas so that they're not quite black or whatever, but maybe that's not, who knows. We'll keep something like that for now. I can add contrast, right? I can go into the brightness and say we want that down maybe a bit. And it's starting to look like more dramatic, more interesting, let's say. We can take some saturation away. Saturation, of course, we can add some saturation. That's kind of neat because what it's doing is it's not adding color to the photo. Okay, saturation doesn't add extra. It doesn't like say, oh, we're just going to put blue in the background. No, it's because this light actually has a little bit of a blue. It's a cool light temperature, so it actually has that blue kind of quality to it. And all saturation does is it enhances that color. It doesn't add a color that was not there. Okay, so I don't know, maybe we can add some saturation that way. Vibrant makes those colors even just way more vibrant. kind of neat like that, where the blue is a little bit more washed out. Warmth, right? Like I can make the colors even cooler. You'll see on the pot there. See how the pot becomes even more cool in color, whereas this is warm, so it becomes like orangey yellow there. That's full warmth. And zero warmth means like you even have like almost like green tints on the pot. I don't know what I like. Maybe this one I'm feeling cool because the background is cool. Of course, you can change the tint of these colors, but I don't know. We're going to keep it at 0. We're close to. Okay, sharpness, of course. If I zoom in here, you can see that sharpness, if I take it away, you can see around the spikes of the cactus anyway, that those are a little bit blurry. And as soon as I go all the way over to 100% sharpness, it makes them like sharper, like as if you're sharpening a knife. They're more clear cut. So we're just going to add a little bit of sharpness. And let's zoom back out. And vignette. Vignette is a nice little thing because what vignette does is it actually darkens all the corners. So you can see as I go full vignette, anything in the corners fades away. And now it creates this like highlighting the fact that the cactus is the star of the show. Done. All right, so that's kind of one neat effect. Let's go back to the photo here. And let's literally put the light down in the background like that. Or maybe even, let's try it this way. And let's see what that creates. Kind of this dramatic, a little bit of dramatic backlight. Now, of course, this is only a dollar store flashlight, so there's only so much it can do. If it was a bigger light source, and if I shine it this way, you can start seeing some glare in the lens there, or flare, I should say. But we're going to create this background light, and I'm going to tap onto the flower pot, and I'm going to bring the exposure just down a bit because we're going to create something a little bit more dramatic. So this just takes a little bit of patience, right? We're going to try to get it centered so that the light goes around equally on both sides. Tap on the flower pot again, bring the exposure down, and snap the photo. All right, so let's go to the photo again. We're going to edit it. I'm going to crop it as a square. We're using squares right now because we're going to show off to our social media friends. Okay, so now that I've kind of squared it off that way, I'm going to hit done. Now you'll notice on the top left of the photo, right up here, that I didn't quite crop out where the light starts to change or the edge of the chair is. That's okay because we can use vignette later, right? And let's go back and edit now, and let's play around. Like if I bring the exposure down, that just brings the whole thing down, but it doesn't really make anything dramatic. So we're not going to worry about that so much. Brilliance brings the overall brilliance up, but let's go right away with contrast, and we're going to add contrast. So we want those lights on the chair to really pop more, right? Brightness maybe up just a bit. The black point, this is where you can say like the total black point of all those pixels, those darker pixels go black. We're going to say just make all the dark pixels just more of a shadow effect. Saturation, again, you can play around with that. Again, it's not changing the color as much as it's just over pronouncing the color that is already there. Let's go with like this, but I'm not too sure if we're going to keep this a color picture or not. I kind of like making those more vibrant though. Now the green and the cactus are really popping green. Warmth. Again, this is going to be subjectivity. Let's keep it like this. We're going to add a little bit of definition and sharpness, because those prickles on the cactus, like, they should be more prickly, not too fuzzy. And we did say we're going to add some vignette to get rid of those corners. And hit done. We're almost done. I'm going to hit edit again, and I'm actually going to go to the filters for a second and see what it looks like in black and white. And not so interesting. So filters, of course, all they do is they play around with all those exposure settings, right? So that's all a filter is preset exposure settings. So we have this photo and we made this one. You know, which one do you like more? Who knows? But you want to play around and try to make different lighting scenarios. Okay, and last thing to point out is, if I were to take a piece of paper and shine through the paper, you can tell that it diffuses the light. It doesn't make it as bright or a hot spot, except it makes it more like a cloud in front of the sun. It diffuses the light, so you can play around with that. Make the paper your background as well. Shine it through the background. Have someone hold the camera for you while you do this, or have someone hold the light source for you. But have fun with all that.